Thank you for joining us on the Real Authentic People podcast. My name is Maya.
My name is Sade.
And I'm Donna.
And we are ran by the Diversity and Equity Center. We aim to be a transformative, anti-oppressive center that disrupts white dominant culture and inspires marginalized students to unapologetically take up space and be leaders and decision makers of social change in our communities.
Here at the Diversity and Equity Center, we have 3 affinity programs, the first of which is called Thrive. Thrive aims to create supportive and validating spaces for women of color to show up unapologetically as their full selves. We focus on developing leadership skills to support women of color students on campus, examining systems of power, privilege, and oppression as it relates to women of color experiences, and building lasting relationships and connections. The second affinity program we have here is called the Men of Color Affinity Group, or MOCA. And MOCA is dedicated to fostering a supportive community that empowers men of color through dialogue, mentorship, and advocacy. They aim to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion by addressing issues of identity, masculinity, and social justice while providing a space for personal and academic growth.
Our third affinity program is QFAM, and QFAM is a support program for LGBTQIA identifying students. They engage in study sessions, fun activities, identity exploration, community building, and forming connections with other LGBTQIA identifying faculty and staff across campus. Here at the Diversity and Equity Center, we also offer up 2 other programs, the first of which is called Culture Corners, which is a place to foster discussion around socially relevant topics.
Our second is Find Your People, which is a space to collaborate with student organizations and clubs across campus to facilitate community building opportunities around certain identities. Past Find Your People events have included First Time in College, LGBTQ plus BIPOC, bisexual identities, and multiracial students.
Welcome.
Okay, let's get silly, guys. Do you guys have any winter quarter lows and highs you want to mention? Maybe we can just do highs.
I think a high for me would be literally just Thrive. Like, I feel like Thrive was able to I don't know, like, I feel like we were able to really open up with one another this quarter, like, a lot more, and I was honestly very nervous because this is my first time with Thrive, and I didn't really know how it would go, especially with the topics that we were talking about. It was kind of hard-hitting, but I was very proud of all the girls there, and I was proud of their growth in helping one another and helping themselves, and especially centering themselves in their lives, because I feel like that is something that we don't do very often. You can kind of see how that plays out as the quarter was going.
Right.
So that's my high.
I feel like every session of Thrive was like amazing. Like, the slideshows were amazing, snacks were amazing, the vibe, the ambiance, the conversation, like it was all really, really good. And you did such an awesome job both of you did such great jobs this past 2 quarters.
Claps all around.
Claps all around. Snaps. What about you, Day? Any winter quarter highs?
I guess I would say all the events that we did, like being able to just show up and be there. I think those were all my highs.
Nice. That's awesome.
How about you, Miss Maya?
I'm trying to think, you guys. I'm literally in crisis. I've been in crisis mode for like the past 3 months. I feel like I'm just like, oh my god, because I'm a senior right now, and I'm tired of this grandpa. Like, I just want like, I just really want to have my degree. I just want to be done. So bad. I will say, though, one of my highs for me was my sociology class, social inequality. That was a really great class, and I really enjoyed it. And, like, I felt very, like, engaged with the material. And, like, the professor has this, like, rule about, like, no phones and stuff. Like, she made it clear that she was, like, very strict about it, like, at the beginning of the quarter with, like, the syllabus and stuff. And it just felt really good to, like, completely, like, be disengaged from, like, I don't know, like, wanting to be on my phone or, like, my laptop and stuff, and, like, just, like, really immersing myself in the material and stuff. Like, it just felt good to go and, like, talk about stuff, I think.
Period.
I love a no phone classroom.
Yes, it's really nice. Like,
And a no phone hangout.
yes.
I love those too.
I love a good no fun hangout. I will say, I do not take my AirPods out. From the time that I get out the car to walk into the building and I put the pods in, they sit in my ears during class, but I don't listen to music. So I don't know. I'm kind of weird. I just have my AirPods in 24/7.
It just feels
and
good.
and I always have my phone like as close to me as possible. at all times.
I think it's like that secure feeling, like the same way that like wearing a bra feels like secure. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Did you guys have a favorite thing you learned or did this quarter?
Calc was fun.
Huh?
Calc was fun. I actually liked
You're a
calculus.
criminal.
I actually liked it. It was
Big
fun,
brain.
and I felt nah. I actually liked it. I felt like I was really intimidated coming in at first. I was like, man, I'm probably one of the oldest ones here and probably don't understand. I mean, I'm not, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
kind of you expect the worst, but I was like, oh, like I actually get this. And like, if you were to like give me a problem right now, like I think I could, think I could do it. Calc 1, not Calc 2. Thank you. Not too much on me. But that was actually really fun this quarter.
Period.
Everything in Calc,
Same.
like everything.
Hey.
Y'all have
Math,
anything?
math is fun when you understand it, I feel like.
Okay, Dave, what's your favorite thing you learned this quarter?
During Black History Month, during the Black Joy exhibit specifically, I got to read a little bit about the Double V campaign. I didn't really know anything about them.
About what?
The Double V campaign.
Uh-huh.
Their motto was like victory over enemies within and victory over enemies without. And they emerged during the war times, and it was like,
During World War II.
yes, sir. And it was like, that just meant victory over enemies, any type of enemy that has the oppressive nature or the oppressive, like, ideals for the African American people, victory over them, basically. And it was like, they weren't allowing black people to fight in the war. And the WV
Yeah.
also advocated for the right to fight for themselves or to be, like, represented within, like, I don't know. I know, but I don't know. But I really, like, it was very empowering to read that and then to go through the rest of the exhibit. I felt very much like, yes, this is exactly what it always should have been. This is exactly what I should have been seeing. And I honestly soaked up a lot more information from this year. I just can't get into it. But from last year. But yeah, but I think that was my very favorite thing about learning about was the Double V campaign.
I was doing my assessment. This does tie into class because I have an educational assessment class where I get to pick what because I'm doing grade 9, so it's world history, and I was like, okay, well, what a better way to study world history than the civil rights movement, because it's not just concentrated in the U.S.
Mhm.
They utilized aspects of the Cold War in order to gain like some type of like influence to our U.S. government to kind of trying to like, you know, because if you know anything about the Cold War, it was a geopolitical conflict between the Soviet and us, and basically it wasn't even like a war because it was happening, so it was so isolated. It was just kind of like a war of like status,
Mhm.
and so then like, okay, so they use like the Double V campaign to say, well, if you really want to like up your game, because the Soviets were like, you got racism over there. You guys got some stuff going on, and you're trying to say you're better than us. And so then they saw that propaganda, and that was like, and then that was kind of like the driving force to like, okay, this is the perfect time to fight. And then it just so happens that like during World War II, they're like, okay, well, let's fight for our rights, for human rights. Sorry, let's fight for our the human decency for us by showing that we will fight for this country.
Mhm.
But a lot of people were still mad at that. That's not to say that like, sorry, I don't want to go no.
No, keep going.
But that's not to say that like people didn't say like, oh, you shouldn't fight for people who wouldn't fight for you.
Mhm.
But they were like, this is how. So it was a very divided situation. It was like, well, we have to show them that we're willing to fight, and they did, and eventually gain the right to be in the military period. A little, it was either towards the end of World War II or is at the very end. But regardless, like they were fighting. To
The girls were fighting.
yeah, the girls were fighting to make their way through, and then I was like saying how in my educational assessment how like there are because one of the standards was basically like examine why different events in the world basically influence this event, and without the Cold War, without World War II, we probably wouldn't have been able to be as successful with the civil rights movement as we were.
Really?
Like, I mean, like if
Yeah.
you think about it.
If you think about it
Yeah.
critically and a little bit deeper.
Because the context of history really do play with one another. Because like if we think about it with 2020, like if we weren't in a COVID situation, like that was awful. Let's be so real. That was awful. But we had nothing to do but sit on our phones.
Mm-hmm.
So we see everything now. But let's put this in the context of there was no COVID. We weren't still sitting on our phones, and we still had homework to do. We still had things to, we still had colleges to like, like try our absolute best for. I'm not saying we don't have to try our absolute best right now, but let's be real. The standards have lowered a little bit, in my opinion. Anyhow, it was a little different. Like in 2020, like would we have been able to comprehend what has been going on in every marginalized community? Would we have had the time to actually like delve into it? I'm not saying we wouldn't know about it. We would absolutely know about it. But would we have this much passion for it? Because we wouldn't have seen what the government was doing during that time, because we weren't fully immersed into our devices at that time.
I feel like it kind of helped making that was fire. Kind of helped making like activism and like advocacy a little bit more, I guess, like widespread knowledge almost. Not to say that it didn't fix racism or anything,
but it definitely brought light to everything that was happening right now. And it's like you see that also, like it's just certain contexts not had to have happened, but certain contexts do influence history, period.
Oh, that was so good.
And when people say like, well, that like it sucks that it happened. It absolutely sucked that it happened. But you do have to remember that sometimes this, like, you have to like, I'm not defending any of the bad behaviors that was made.
No, right. You're just like, you're just talking about history in like a non-biased like way.
But I will say that like, let's say an event happened sooner. Like something like, let's say the context of this was pushed sooner. We probably would have more, like a lot more change right now than we would if it didn't happen. Or than we are right now.
Wait, we're talking. Wait, you said that about like getting into our devices and stuff. If that would happen like sooner.
Yeah, like let's say we had like
If this happened in like 2012 or like.
Yeah.
Ooh, do you think this? Okay. Do you think?
Hot take.
Do you think that we'd even like, if this attitude or if this was happening in like, say 2006 or something? Do you think the attitude that we've seen our generation take? Well, no, it'd be our parents. So like, do you think the change will be different? Because I feel like our generation is doing a very good job at being vocal AF. So I feel like if this was put in the context of our parents have to do this, like our parents.
Here's the thing. Like I feel like 90, like 95 from like 2000s, like 2000 up to like 2011ish, like things were real racist, like in the media, things that were just like passively consumed and stuff. Like anything you watch between that time period, if it's like a movie or a show, you're going to encounter at least 5 macroaggressions.
Bro.
Maybe, actually not even maybe. I do take that back my statement. I was wrong. You guys, I don't think that if these things happened sooner that things would have changed.
Because it has desensitized people in the media more to violence.
I was going to say because of the new Jim Crow. Too many of us were getting locked up anyway, so I feel like there wouldn't have been very many voices to have been, to have like felt connected to the material. It would have been a lot of people just saying, just scrolling. Like, let's put this in the context of, like, we still have phones, right? Like, the phones that we have now, but just back then. It's like the people who care, for the most part, and the people who are willing to take the videos are the people who look like us. You don't have people like us on the streets, then who's going to take the videos?
That's true.
Oh, my God.
It just would have been, I feel like it would have been silenced, if anything, even more. Because that's also a different president. That's also, keep in mind, the 2000s.
Who was the president in 2006?
Me looking it up right now.
I should know this.
I have another thing to ask you.
It's Obama. Wait,
yes.
No, it wasn't. That was 08. That was 08.
George W. Bush.
But also keep in mind, 2000s was also a scary time for people like us to be alive because 2001, 9/11. Not many people were willing to hear out people who look like us.
Oh my God, this is crazy. Like, this is like, I'm like thinking about this now, the way that you explained it, like, that's crazy. And you're right. Like, the events of history, like, occur within one another.
It's change and continuity over time.
You're such a critical thinker. Like, wow.
We're all critical thinkers. That's right now.
Hey. Okay, wait. I have another thing. You said that how like during the World War II, the Soviet Union was like, you guys have racism over there.
Oh, Cold War.
Oh, during the Cold War, does the Soviet Union not have racism, or was just there only white people there?
I guess there's only, well, the thing is, we're much more known for our racism because the civil rights movement was happening during that time. So, like, you see this propaganda of, what the Soviets were seeing was propaganda of us fighting for our rights. So it's like, ooh, you got it to the point where people have to fight? That's insane. And so it's like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but, again, let's be so for real, they probably don't have very many black people over there.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The Soviet Union be having
Sometimes-
black and brown people,
Yeah.
or like.
Sometimes I forget that all the propaganda that the white people put out and stuff, like the birth of a nation and all that yummy stuff, the entire world seen. Like
Uh-huh.
everybody got classically conditioned, everybody got Pavloved. So it's just like sometimes I just forget, like, so y'all know about us. So why y'all, bro? Sometimes I'm just like, why? I don't know. I'm not really good at history or like none of that. So like sometimes I'm just like, why don't we just like not do that? Why don't we just like not do that?
Literally, like it's so simple.
Or why can't the
guys.
U.S. just not do it? Or, like, why can't
Right.
the
Like yeah.
people in the U.S.?
Like why can't the US just not do that? Like why can't we just mind our own business and not have troops in other people's business? Not
Because it's all capitalistic.
bro.
Like, we still, like, we get money out of all
Have you
of
guys
it.
ever
Oh, God, we
thought
do.
about that? How like
In
I
my
don't really know how other
Ooh, in my
countries'
opinion.
militaries work and stuff, but
Mhm.
I'm not very good at that
I've
either.
always heard about the concept of like America. The American military has bases all over the world. Like people are like, oh, I'm getting deployed to Japan, or I'm getting deployed to South Korea, I'm
Right.
getting deployed to wherever and stuff. I'm like, what would we do if some other country came up in here, posted up, and was like, okay, we're gonna open a military base here.
Well, we're
Like,
just too
literally.
powerful for anyone else to want to do that. Like, even
That's
if,
so crazy.
like, it's so messed up. It's very messed up, in my opinion. It's like, we are the big sister that, like, should be there to help you, but instead of helping you, like, we offer help, in my opinion, from what I've seen. We offer help, and then we end up, like, it's either direct or indirect control. Eventually, we either take up your we say we're gonna take up your customs, and then we'll write new laws about it, and we'll write a more indoctrinated government into your system, and we'll help you with that, so that way you can run like we do. But eventually, they end up just taking over. Not taking over in the sense of, like, I can probably see what, like, people are thinking when you hear take over. You're probably thinking, oh, like, mass troops, like, we're literally gonna take over. No, like, it's everything is slow. Change doesn't happen. I mean, change happens overnight, but it doesn't happen very visibly.
Right.
So the Soviet Union is Russia?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So I
Isn't
want to
it
ask.
weird?
I want to ask a question, but I don't know if I can ask this.
What? What?
It's like question about the Nazis.
Is
that-
no,
is that
I
Germany?
think you can know
Is-
yet.
That's
Yeah.
that's Germany, right?
Yes, the
Yeah.
Nazis were from Germany.
Right. Okay. Did you guys ever watch Marvel? Anything?
No,
Captain America? None of that.
I've never seen any of those.
Okay.
He was frozen. I just know that.
Mm-hmm.
He was
His
preserved.
like the whole thing for Captain America and all those comics was propaganda about America fighting Russia, or no, America fighting Nazis or some. Either it was Nazis or Russia. I'm sorry, y'all. Anyways, and like the main like he would go to Germany and like fight them, and they were like Nazis, but then like the next panel it'd be like somebody Russian like talking or saying something. So
Mhm.
Hold on.
I may be completely wrong, but I'm just very confused.
So, like, it's not to say that Russia didn't exist.
Mm.
It's just to say that it wasn't what it is now.
Mm.
The borders are not, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, there's borders now.
it's kind of, well,
Are there-
there's borders everywhere.
No, I know that, but
Like,
I've always conceptualized Soviet Union as like one big thing, right? And then like
Yeah.
they broke up, and then became like
separate entities.
yes, yeah.
So it's
Wait,
kinda
so
like
what
that.
what two entities did they create?
2 entities?
I don't think it was two.
Yeah.
Oh,
think
it's not true? Oh.
I think it was just like a combination of different countries under not one rule, but like an indirect rule. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me. I'm not very good at Soviet history.
Okay, are we done talking about the Soviet Union, or
Yeah.
anybody else got anything left to say?
I feel like we got a lot of hot takes about that, so we might as well
Yes.
move on to our actual section.
Takes, yes. We're gonna do
Oh, we
some.
can talk about new shows and movies or TV shows.
Oh, do you guys want to talk about that
Yes.
really quick? Okay, wait, yeah, because I really do want to talk about a new show that I watched. But you guys go first.
I'll say something really quick, and then because that's all I have to say. Grits and Eggs podcast. Thank you, Sade. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I got into this new podcast called the Grits and Eggs podcast. Shout out Deontay, Kyle, and Big Ice Bucket Cat. Oh my gosh, they're the hosts, and they are just blackity black. They don't do nothing but talk to black folk, and it is so refreshing to have two adult male black men speaking to the masses. He only speaks messages of upliftment, how to give back to the community, how to get into trades, how you should start looking to your family for support. And he just be speaking to my soul for real. And I feel like we need more people like Deontay to advocate for our community, because a lot of the time people just think black people are in the streets selling crack, doing whatever. And it's like, that's not what our neighborhoods look like. Mm-hmm. That's never what they've only been about. So I just feel like him breaking down the wall, breaking down the stereotypes and the stigma around being black and being a man, he really eats. Ugh. And I just really appreciate him for his advocacy, because there's nobody out there that looks like my little brother that's doing it. There's nobody out there with my little brother's little accent, with my little brother's little twang out there talking to these people. So I just really appreciate him.
Great. I love that. That sounds like a really good podcast. My favorite show that I watched this quarter, you guys, Deli Boys. So
I
good.
saw that. I saw the trailer.
So good. It's really, really good, and I really like it because I don't know. I feel like there's never really you get a random South Asian character in some things and stuff, especially now. And the last thing that really came out that I really enjoyed watching because it resonated with Desi culture was Never Have I Ever. Deli Boys was so good though, and I think there's just a lot of depth to it that it's just really funny, and it just felt good to watch a crime, it's a crime show basically. It just felt good to watch a crime show and actually want to watch it. Every single time I've tried to watch anything like that, I'm just whatever, I can't even keep up with this. But there was just so many jokes that were oh my god, that's so brown people funny, that's so Desi funny. Okay. Let's get into our hot takes. We're playing a little game of hot takes, and then after that we'll do some would you rather this or that. So, would you rather eat Cirque food while at CW or at Panda?
And you could only eat what's in the Cirque, or you could only eat Panda.
Ooh.
Nothing else. That is it.
Does the store in Panda count?
I guess. The C store in the Cirque would count too, is right?
I guess. Would that? Yeah, let's count it. I'm still going to say the Cirque. I'm still saying
the Cirque just because there's more variety, but the best burger on campus is low-key at the Village Grill.
It is.
100%. I support that. 100%.
I would eat only there if need be, actually.
Yeah,
genuinely.
Oh my god, their pulled pork sliders too.
I haven't had those.
They're so good. They're really good. I remember I haven't lived on campus in 2 years, so I don't have a dining plan anymore. But I literally crave the pulled pork sliders from the Village sometimes. Do you know how crazy it is to be craving school food?
Their crispy chicken burritos, I don't know what's in their menu recently, but they added a lot more things.
They have a ton of stuff.
Yeah, and I tried one because someone was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get rid of my dining table." I was like, "Really?" It was good. It was better than when I was here. So I was a little upset. Anyways, I would say Cirque. Sorry.
Cirque. Yeah. What about you, Day?
Yeah, probably Cirque.
Okay.
If it was one specific place in the Cirque, you could only eat at the Fresh Bar or at Panda, I probably would choose Panda.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. No hate to the Fresh Bar though, or to anywhere in there. But the food is usually hit or miss.
Yeah.
It's true.
Would you guys rather live in Ellensburg for the rest of your life or never find your dream job? That was crazy. Whoever came up with that one, crazy work.
Never find my dream job.
Here's my thing. Did I find my dream job in Ellensburg? Can I do that?
I wrote that question, and I was honestly thinking, yeah, you'd have your dream job, but you'd live in it. You can't leave Ellensburg.
Who's to say I still can't get a rich job?
Exactly.
I just won't be doing my dream job.
You a teaching major.
But who says that? I can still get not, okay. Rich in fulfillment.
Right.
However, I could get riches
Exactly.
elsewhere.
Come on now.
Right.
We got
and I can still live a happy life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would not choose to live in Ellensburg for the rest of my life. Like, that is so crazy. Like, that's like just wanting all of the ethnic in me to just die.
Right. I don't know. I don't even really know what my dream job is anymore, guys. So I'm just like, okay.
But say you find it.
Right.
My calling.
I think I'd settle for my second favorite job instead of living here.
Yeah, honestly, same.
That's real.
Would you rather advocate for a curriculum that includes more works by marginalized authors or a curriculum that integrates more global perspectives?
I think this is a trick question.
Same.
Because these are the global perspectives. Now
Yep.
let's talk about it.
When I was thinking global perspectives, I was thinking literally like you get to meet that person.
Oh.
Sorry, I was like, I was thinking like, oh, more international students, like literally like us going elsewhere, which RIP those countries. I'm not gonna lie. We're in my opinion, we can be a handful. I'm aware, but like everyone quite literally like migrating everywhere so we can exchange ideas. Like that's what I was thinking about, like integrating more global perspectives.
That's good.
Instead of like solely only, I mean, just only being able to read it and not like get to meet them and like, okay, let's dig deeper into why you said that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say global perspectives, personally, if that was the case. How about y'all?
I agree with you that this is a trick question because the first one kind of makes the second one happen. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm down for like either.
Yes. I feel like this really felt like a trick question to me because each of us, everybody is a global perspective on this perspective on this planet. But once you come to this country, you're a marginalized perspective. That's the only difference I seen there. The only reason that we're marginalized people in this country is because of white people. So I feel like we are the global perspective, and like when you do like what you said, I also really agree with you. Integrating to different parts of the world and exchanging ideas and building worldwide culture. That's also, yeah, I just agree with that. That's what we need. But then once you bring it back to this country, as long as Western European people are in power, you are a marginalized author. They don't judge you by the color by the cover of the book, but by the color of the author. So.
Period.
What's y'all's final answer? Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No,
that was just a lot.
No, you're good. It ate down.
Yeah, probably both.
I'm
Or.
easy with this one. Like, we can both.
I choose or, so period.
Okay, we're gonna move on to some hot takes now.
Period.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. That sounds so like, okay.
She's like, get to the point.
No,
That was really good.
No. I was like, okay, I think I'm missing something. So like, I don't actually know. I was like, wait, hold on, because you went, yeah, and I was like, like I missed something.
Period.
Sorry. Okay. Thanks.
Ooh, a little steamy.
Being woke is a brand tool. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like when companies, like, there's a lot of okay, here's the thing, though. There's a lot of companies who don't say stuff about things going on in our world, just, like, socially and, like, institutionally and stuff, and, like, in the media and everything like that.
But
there's a lot of other companies who do. You know what I mean?
But the ones who did and stayed true to themselves, then we know that wasn't a brand tool. But the ones that took it away, that was a brand tool. So yes, that's why I say yes. But if you're not saying something, then okay, this ties into it. I swear, I saw something today about how there was a hearing, and there was a transgender woman who was from Delaware, Dooley. I'm not very good at law, but regardless, she was trying to speak, and she was addressed from like the two representatives as Mr. So one of the representatives was like, was trying to like, was introducing. That's literally his job, to introduce her. But he was like, so Mr. da-da-da-da, Dooley something from Delaware, you may now speak. And then she was just gonna sit there and because like what's she gonna do? Like really, like if she makes like especially in right now, like in my opinion, if she says something, then she's kind of like, you know. And then the other representatives, because it's Stu, said like, what did you just say to the other mediator? And then the other mediator was like, what? And he was like, you're gonna redo that introduction again because that was not right. He didn't have to do that, especially right now, but he's standing by his core values in order to make sure that like everyone feels welcome. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of these stores are not doing because they don't care about us. And also he said, if you're not going to address her correctly, then we can just not have this like a meeting. And then the other guy said, meeting adjourned.
Oh no, that's right.
No, the guy, addressed her as Mr. He said, he basically was saying, I would rather call her Mr. than say Mrs., like actually say correctly. And that's the type of, in my, like when I saw that, I was like, I was thinking about these stores. I was like, you are the type of store that never cared about us and like that we should have never cared about to begin with, but like we have to respect you because of the fact that you're in a position of power. But then the other side is like, there are people who actually do care and want to advocate for us. Mm-hmm. And that's how I see the woke brand tool as.
I see. Well, I take that period back.
I was like, wait, hold on, wait.
There's something about when you just talked on it, like you're just like natural born teacher, bro.
Yes,
like,
literally. You explain stuff so well.
And there's just no way that I could get lost in the sauce because it's very clearly poignantly. Is that a word? Poignantly.
It's a word now.
Yeah.
Period.
Add it to the dictionary.
Right now.
What's just the next hot take you would like to take us through, Miss Maya?
DEI and DEC offices make a huger impact on the entire campus population than we think. I agree with this because it's like even if you're just helping 5 students, 5 marginalized identities, it's like, okay, something bigger was done here today, and I think that's very contributory to campus, to society, like.
Very much so. And I feel like all of us, people of color, marginalized students who are on campus are very extraordinary, and everybody in their own right is very unique. And when we have a space, a hub that caters to our uniqueness and amplifies exactly who we are and how we exist in all these different spaces, if you're helping like 5 different people and they go out and they have all these different friend groups who are also unique people and they're going out and they're interacting with people who are just normal, just regular normies, everybody is making a different impact on somebody. So somebody who started the hub is going to carry on and carry on and carry on. And one of our past episodes, we're talking about this sign that I had seen, in a certain establishment in the city, where it was like, you embody wherever you come from exactly the way you look, top of the head to the sole of your feet. So like, when we have spaces like the DEC or DEI initiatives that protect us and how much we embody the places that we're from, because everywhere makes it clear that they don't want where we're from to come with us. I feel like that makes, a macro impact across university life. Because if you didn't have no people of color on campus, if you didn't have any of us participating in anything, where's all your propaganda? Where's all your DEI statistics? You wouldn't have that. There's an entire underbelly of campus that you wouldn't see because that's exactly where we are.
Right.
Also, who's to say that we're strictly DEI thoughts, strictly DEI initiatives? We are also just the person walking next to you. We're also literally just a student sometimes. And that's
exactly.
And it's like believing in equity should not be some radical, like othered kind of idea. Like,
yes. Like,
I am a person. Like, we are people. You, like, other people, like, exist and have feelings and, like.
Right.
I don't know. Literally, I just don't think that equity, the concept of equity should be controversial or, again, like, I hate when particular demographics, period. I hate when particular demographics are just like, I don't feel included, I don't feel welcomed, I don't feel invited, and it's like, so look within. Why do you feel like that? Because this is about inclusion, this is about equity. Why do you feel like that deep down inside? It's time to dust off the shelves and do some self-inventory, babe.
You've had us look from within for way too long and had us blaming ourselves.
No, literally, I've had so much consciousness since I was like 7, bro. Like
literally, bro.
And there's a reason why our thoughts and ideas are so prevalent on, like, just on a big scale, period. And so, I just have a quick question. If we didn't have a DEI or quote unquote DEI or a deck office, would you guys even feel like you could just come around and be yourselves on campus, period?
No.
Boy freak, no.
Yeah. Would you think that you'd even be in this position, like, as outspoken as you are?
No. I think I have a headstrong personality, and I think I'm very stubborn, but I also understand the vibe in the room, and I also can tell when I'm in danger. And while it may not be immediate, like you're about to attack me, rip my face off danger, it's still a I see you and you're not a person danger, and I know that at any given moment, because you don't like me, there could be a new law that says I can't even be here. So it's like knowing that there is that underlying danger that walks with you throughout campus, and your peers are always looking at you funny because your hair looks different or you don't talk the same way that they do. It's like the DEC has helped me escape that for a little while.
Yeah.
Even if I'm at work or if I'm just in there just to be in there, I know that 100% everybody that walks through that door does not hold those same bad intentions and that same danger behind their back.
Yeah. And I think another part about, like, something that's, like, truly, like, terrifying about, like, that perspective that you were talking about, like, I may not be in immediate danger. It's, like, the people that were around here, and, like, the white people that were around here, these people are future educators, future administrators, future fellow professionals and stuff. And it's, like, you can carry out this bias with you into the professional field, and that will maybe affect me or people like me in your proximity, and that scares me. Like, that's scary. Like, that's really scary.
It's literally terrifying because look at all the legislation that's being taken away right now. These are people who've had these ideals since before college.
Yeah. And here, I don't know, like, I just can't process the idea of receiving higher education and still having really conservative values, because it's like, bro, if you didn't learn about, like, if you didn't take one class where they talked about some kind of institutionalism bias, like, just like racism, social inequity, stuff like that, like, I genuinely do think everybody needs to take at least just like one class discussing that, because it's like, there's no way you came here and just like laid down and took the institution and took the system. It's just like, that's just crazy to me. That's just really crazy to me. Because it's like, you didn't learn one piece about the history of your major or something that invoked you to be like, wow, we live in a world.
Literally.
Like, it didn't give you that feeling. Like, that's crazy. Can we talk about the political and economic? I think everybody needs to have that thought at least one time in their lives. Like, if you are not like us or like me, or like you do not have these like thoughts about education or academics or anything, you need to take one class and just get like provoked with that. Like, can we talk about the economic and political stuff?
One class without your phone, without no distractions, and literally immerse yourself into the material.
Yes, turn the chat off.
It's not even like just like, okay, like, are you going to class? It's, are you actually learning something?
Bro.
Yeah.
Half the time, I can't even tell if I'm just trying to soak up the information to spit it all back out onto this test in a week, or if I'm really understanding and grappling with each fact that builds up to the reason why I'm doing this, why I'm in the healthcare field, how the healthcare field started. And it's like, if you don't take a look at how your major started or what they had to do to get it to where it is today, you're not doing nothing.
Literally, like you might be missing out on the money you just paid for the education. Like, you're losing.
Exactly.
You're losing.
You're not profiting.
Yeah.
Is the education in the room with us?
This was a little crazy, guys. Listen, inclusive terms are trying too hard.
Yeah, whenever I hear that, the first thing that came to mind was woman with an X.
Oh yeah, that's doing too much. That's
exactly
doing too much.
Because like that's when that's when I think of the, like,
we've lost the plot.
Yeah, I'm just like
lost in the sauce.
I'm just like, oh, what do you mean by that?
I think the whole like X thing is just like, so we've lost the plot coded.
Period. Okay, this is a super hot take about this hot take. When we were sitting here talking about this just now, I was thinking of terms like, guys, don't shoot the messenger, but terms like BIPOC.
Black, Indigenous, and then people of color.
Yeah.
Isolation.
Yeah.
Within a community.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, I don't even like being called a person of color.
Ever
Isn't that
since you
crazy?
ever since you talked to me about this, I'm like,
Yeah.
wait,
Right.
because why does it like you ate with that?
Because it's all just in the proximity to whiteness anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, we had to decide to be black, and then, like, had to have a whole movement, the Black Power movement, to prove that we are black. So it's just like terms like BIPOC just like make me uncomfortable. Like, why we're really like, so now black and indigenous people are not people of color anymore, but all other people of color who are not white people are people. It don't make no sense.
That further
It's
that
too
does
much,
further
yeah.
marginalize black and indigenous people.
Exactly.
And those are already like the most what's it called? At risk identities in our country. So it's just like that. Wow.
Exactly.
That's a window has opened. That's really interesting, and I think you're kind of cooking, and I think I'm eating it up.
How to get up in the stew? How to get up in the stew? Come on now. Okay.
Sadly, we don't have very much time left in this
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
However, I know you guys want to continue these conversations with us.
Yes.
So please.
Come visit us in Black Hall 101. 105 is going to be closing up for a little bit
Yes.
shortly after this quarter.
Stay
this
tuned for that
upcoming
new
quarter.
building.
Yes,
Mhm.
Multicultural Center coming your way.
Hey.
Office is still open though.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
stop by and have these convos.
Monday through Friday, 10 to 7. At Fridays, we close at 5. Thanks for getting silly with us today, guys. I had a fun time having these conversations, and I love when we're able to just, like, talk.
Yes.
We will
chit-chat.
chit-chatting, yes. This was the Real Authentic People podcast. My name is Maya.
And I'm Sade.
And I'm Donna.
Bye.